Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here yet again. As always, today we have another Cardano related project in this sort of Cardano ecosystem. I'm really excited about this one in particular. So I've got Nicolas Di Prima from dcSpark here to talk to me today. He's the lead engineer over there. So thank you so much for being here, Nicolas.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, really excited about this. I think the best place to start really quickly up front is to give folks a little bit of your background and how you got into the space. And then we can talk about dcSpark. I think everyone's going to be really curious about it.
Oh, yeah, makes sense. Well, a couple of years ago, I started at IOHK. I
Hmm.
started working for Cardano, the blockchain itself. Wrote some cryptographic primitives for Cardano.
Hmm.
And then I joined a different team that was called later on the Rust team. And we started to wander off. We created the Yoroi, what became the Yoroi wallet.
Hmm.
We created the Rust Cardano project, which unfortunately is uh, dangling now. And Jormungandr and the ITN and all these amazing adventures, which is now Catalyst.
Hmm. Yeah, amazing
And
stuff.
yeah, and then while I left, because it was time for me to leave, to take some days off,
Hmm.
it's my wife sacrificed a lot of time for me to work on all these projects. Jormungandr was a bit of an adventure, if people remember that. And now it's her going back to work, and I minded the children for a while. And now I'm back, and dcSpark. I joined with Nico, with Sebastian, and Robert, and we're building this new project that is dcSpark, and what we're going to talk about. And Nico and Sebastian and Robert, they created this company in April. Back in April, they made that huge announcement where they talked that they wanted to develop the ecosystem for Cardano, write new projects, write new toolings, enhance, enable the development environment for Cardano.
Hmm.
Which is a bit, which in more, it needs more, right? At the moment, we all feel that it's great, the tools are there, the paper are there, the node is working, everything, but now we need to be able to like start writing better content, more applications, and hopefully we will be that company that is going to like uh, spark, right? Bring that spark to that petroleum tech and make it a huge, a huge, beautiful explosion of greatness. And yeah, we will see.
That's the way to go. Yeah, no, I'm really excited about that. And so, dcSpark, to be honest with you, like from my perspective, really sits at the center of a lot of, potential, potential for development and for building out this ecosystem as Cardano really moves into the world of decentralized applications. Can you give folks a little bit of background on what the project is aiming to do? Maybe what some of the core development efforts are going to be, and where this lands in the grand
Yeah,
scheme.
sure. Sure. So there is a, well, first I thought we are going to start working on all the libraries that are available.
Hmm.
Nico and Sebastian, they already started working back when they were at Emogo on this Cardano serialization lib, which we are going to like add more to this, to prepare for Alonso and to start to make it prettier now, so we can develop more apps. And one of the works that we're going to do is to develop Flint, which is going to be a new wallet, and that's going to be using this and start to provide a better, or maybe not necessarily better, but at least a different way to look at the wallet for the user, right? Something, maybe a slightly different approach, but maybe fix some UI, something more personal for the user,
Hmm.
more security. We hope to anyway. We aim to, and there is this new project which is Milkomeda that is being announced now, and this is exciting, really exciting project that's pitching me this project. That's how they poach me and they make me come back, right?
Hmm.
So Milkomeda is this new exciting project where we are actually trying to bring both Cardano and Ethereum work together. You know, like it's these old friends that they don't talk to each other. No, we are going to make them talk together, and
Yeah.
we are going to allow. So we are going to start this sidechain to Cardano, and we are going to allow people to, with their Cardano ADA, to start executing and launching smart contracts on the EVM machine. So that's pretty much it. So now, like Cardano is going to be with Plutus being announced soon, and hopefully us releasing as soon as we can. We will have both Plutus smart contract and Ethereum smart contract being able to run, well, maybe not natively for us, right? But at least bringing it to the Cardano ecosystem and allowing all these developers, this Solidity developer, to start like writing smart contracts for Cardano as well.
Yeah, and I mean it's cool because I think everything in the Cardano like ecosystem in general has such clever nomenclature, like naming, and this Milkomeda basically, or Milkomeda, however you want to pronounce it, is this amalgamation of two major galaxy names, Milky Way and Andromeda, right? Bringing these two entire universes together, Ethereum and Cardano, which I think together are way better, in collaboration than they are separate. So I think it'll be very interesting to see how this sort of plays out in bringing those two things together.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting. What's interesting is that we have all now the toolings, and what's interesting is that we are not going to try to write a new blockchain where you have to buy in, swap your tokens or this kind of thing. We want you use Cardano as the main gas engine, right? So you pay for the smart contract with Cardano on Cardano chain, and that's really important to say.
Yeah. So this was effectively a sidechain with its own relative security guarantees, but it has its native sort of utility is ADA that lives on Cardano.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. And so I guess in the future and when this launches, and do you have a general idea of when this will sort of be in its fullest form for people to really use and deploy on?
Yeah, well, that's a very good question. Usually that's a dangerous question, right? Because you start telling us precise, the goal is to not give a precise date, but precise enough. We aim for a private testnet by end of September, and by the end of the year to have like a more public testnet, and hopefully even release early next year.
Awesome. So it's pretty close in hand.
But everything is there, right? We are lucky. All the tooling is there. We just need to put it together. It's just a matter of putting things together now. Ethereum is very well. The Ethereum ecosystem is very well developed. The Cardano ecosystem, well, the toolings are there. We just need to shape that together, and then we need to pipeline it. There is a smart contract coming up, but there is also native script, right, for multi-sig, and we're going to utilize this in Cardano. The multi-sig script in order to verify that we receive the transaction at the right place on Cardano, this kind of thing. So everything is there. It's amazing. We just need to bring the security and make sure we're not going to have the poly network issue, for example.
Right. Yeah, and I think that was where I was going to go next. Right, is whenever you have these sort of intermediate, whether they're side chains, whether they're true bridges that are sort of atomic between two chains or multiple, there's always this concern around security, and there's a more important component of making sure these things are well audited. What is the plan around that, other than testnets, of course, which really do help? Are there audit plans?
Yeah, so testnet is mostly to make sure that the user experience is matching the expectations, but it doesn't solve anything in terms of security, because the real game, the real time where attacker actually try to steal the money is not a testnet, right? Is going to be when there is actually a cryptocurrency at stake, right? And we don't want that to happen. Well, there is multiple thing is that we are going to use not smart contract to manage the multi-signature of the token, right? Everything is going to happen on Cardano on the multi-sig script. So,
Right.
you know, at the first, right, it's something that is native, that is already, there is already the formal specification of IOHK teams that actually went through it, has been audited. So like we have stronger guarantees in that regard for security management of the assets.
Got it. Yeah, making sure that, like you mentioned, like some of the most recent bridge hacks where the main focal point is the contracts that hold the assets on either end of the connection. You know, it'll be interesting to see that as this unfolds along with like native smart contracts on Cardano, how the interfaces work and how that whole ecosystem evolves as well. And I kind of wanted to get your thoughts about that as well as we approach the final mainnet launch date for Alonzo on the Cardano mainnet. Like, where do you see these two things maybe fitting together in terms of building this, you know, general ecosystem around execution of smart contracts in the world of Cardano writ large?
Yeah. Well, I think at first, most of the smart contract on Ethereum can be called, you know, and can be reused from the Plutus smart contract, you know, potentially. So that's something that could be interesting to see, actually, is how, you know, in this transition period where people are starting to write the native Plutus smart contract, you know, how it's going to allow this transition to happen, you know, slowly. Like I said, we can push the smart contract on Ethereum there first, and then start writing the core component, maybe things that we want to have the Plutus property or the native properties, writing them in Plutus slowly, you know, as we have time, as development cost allows, and this kind of thing. And later on, maybe actually people are going to stop at some point and find this kind of equilibrium where, while we have enough of Ethereum toolings that are there, they are working-ish, no need to touch that. Let's write new things on top of this with Plutus, you know, maybe. Or, yeah, maybe there are other constraints as well. Plutus, we still don't, I mean, we have had the playground, but there are still some uncertainties about it. We don't know all of it yet and all the potential it has. So, yeah, a lot of unknowns that are that makes things exciting, and that's why it's interesting to be there first, so we can participate to defining what it is actually to write multi-chain smart contract on the Cardano.
Yeah, it's like it's such a brand new space right now, and there's a lot of, I mean, there's obviously a lot of things that we're getting to experience, we're getting to see in the testnet period with, you know, people really experimenting and rapidly prototyping things out. But of course, it's a totally different ball game when it goes fully live in mainnet. Real resources are on the line, like you mentioned. You can always, you know, find little things and improve little things and make things more performant. But when it's game time, it's a totally different world. And when it comes to sort of the general mission of dcSpark, is it really just to create better tools and you know, help refine the ecosystem around Cardano, and then, you know, sort of the peripheral components that go into that, like this sidechain that kind of connects to the world of Ethereum?
As I said, I'm just starting at dcSpark.
Yeah.
And I've just started working on that project. But from knowing Nico and Sebastian, yeah, that is the goal. They were working at Emorgo before, and that was their goal there, even though that was not their job. That was already what they were doing. Emorgo was not supposed to do a wallet, yet they've done it, and it was great. I mean, that finally, you know, a wallet that is light and that doesn't need 2 hours to start. That was a revolution at the time. And that was amazing, right? And they're just like doing that again now. They're you know, allowing Ethereum smart contracts, you know, you know, like another thing, and they are investing time and money, you know, on this Rust libraries that has JavaScript binding via WASM, you know, like more technicalities, and again, that's providing better tooling for the environment, and they are investing a lot of time on it. We are working on a new model to try to to have a wallet that are more performant as well. It's called the Multiverse. It's one of my ideas with Vitset Hanquest back in IOHK, where we wanted to have a wallet that instead of just trying to wait, the number of blocks for confirmation, to look at all the branches, all the forks on the blockchain, and try to give this view to the user, like, okay, on this branch, so currently there is a tiny block competition, on chain, on Cardano. It happens from time to time because of the VRF. And so they see it, and they say, okay, so, good news, because most of the time that transaction is going to be in both forks. So they're going to be, okay, my transaction is in the competitive world of these two branches. Yeah. My transaction is accepted. So all of these are things that are enabling us to develop, and all of this is going to improve the ecosystem, improve the user experience, hopefully, and the developer experience.
Yeah, I think it's key. I mean, if you look at what's made Ethereum what it is, a lot of it is, it has a dedicated community, which Cardano does as well, and they have a very mature developer ecosystem. Of course, there's always issues, everyone likes to point to those issues, but the reality is I think that's something to aspire to in this space, is to have great, high-level developer tooling and libraries for people to use to make building applications faster and easier and safer. Having nice components and componentry for wallets, because wallets are really, really important, and selection of wallets is very important because end users need good ways to access the decentralized applications you're building. So I think that this is a great mission, not only just the sidechain with an EVM-compatible sidechain, but just generally the mission of making it easier to build things in Cardano and making it easier for users to consume those things that are being built. So I'm really excited about it. Definitely.
Yeah, well,
definitely.
So we are. Many projects that are going to come as we grow, as we gain traction, as we prove as well ourselves to the community. As the more we are going to prove that we are actually meeting these goals, the more the community I know because I've already worked with the Cardano community for the ITN. So I know the more you give and the more you prove yourself, the more they give back as well. So we are going to be able to maybe develop more, explore more new concepts. Maybe, I don't know, work with trying to write a wallet that's my dream, actually. Do a wallet that does not need to have a node as well, just a light wallet that connect to the network and just say, I want to receive the blocks, and receive them, and that's it. And discard the blocks. You don't need to store the blocks forever when you're just a wallet. Maybe you don't need that, for some time. And just being able to do a truly small, lightweight wallet, that would be something, right? Especially for Cardano, that would reach, small nodes that does not need a lot of electricity, a lot of resources, and then even smaller wallets that are simpler and more contained. I think that would reach all the goals that Charles Hoskinson defined, back in the days at the beginning, and that would be amazing to participate to that goal.
Yeah, definitely having lightweight stuff that can run, natively and comfortably on mobile is very important, and things that can run with, especially as more and more native assets are created, you have to just track more sheer volume of information within a client application. It's definitely important to make it as efficient as possible and still have the information that you need. So I'm really excited about this. I would definitely love to have you back on the show when we get to testnet time and testing time, obviously time permitting, more important things around security and testing and making sure everything is good, but time permitting, just to show everyone what this sidechain is going to look like. Milkomeda.
Yeah, sure, I'd love to come back, maybe by December, Christmas, something like this, around there, and show what Santa dcSpark has brought to the community.
Yeah, and hey, nothing more festive than showing off a brand new testnet for something cool like this.
Yeah, well, the community are going to love it because we release the ITN shortly before Christmas,
Yeah.
And for the whole holidays of Christmas, the ITN network was crashing, and it was a nightmare for everyone to run. So that's kind of private joke between the community and myself on this one. They will love it. I think like, no, Nicolas, don't do
Yeah.
that again.
Yeah, yeah. Let's make sure that everyone can focus on the holiday season rather than trying to get their everything up and running. Yeah, no, that's funny, man. That's funny. But genuinely, I appreciate you taking the time to come on the show and talk about this. If folks have a question about dcSpark, about the Milkomeda network, please leave them in the comments down below. I'll share them with Sebastian, Nico, Nicholas, whatever. We'll get some answers for you. And as always, thank you so much for watching. If you have time to stick around, here's another Cardano video. I'll link up on the screen. But Nicholas, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks, folks. And until next time, cheers.